begins in 30 BCE, when Egypt is being invaded by the Romans. And the emerald tablet was buried in the foothills of the pyramid. Now, the emerald tablet had been used by the Greeks because in this dramatization, you notice that the scribe, the young scribe and the old scribe, were European. They're not African. Right. So what they represent is the Greeks who conquered Kemet in 332 BCE acquired the information from the so-called emerald tablet. They had it for 300 years before the Romans came in and took the knowledge away from them. So, the emerald tablet, and this is described now, and in the dramatization, you know, there's this sense of dread, there's this sense of panic, as this guy is hurriedly trying to make the copy of the emerald tablet, right? And we're going backwards in the timeline. I want you to focus your attention on this close-up image of the scribe, and behind him, there's a diagram on the wall, right? It's a little difficult to see because of the lighting, but I made a copy of it so that you can see. This is the image that's on the wall. Those who travel to Kemet and are aware of the history and culture would know that that is an image of Jehuti. It's an image of Jehuti, holding in his hand a tetrahedron, and he has an arc on his arm, and he's sitting on an eye. All right? More specifically, he's sitting on the eye of Heru. Jehuti was the Kemetic Neter who represents the process of divine articulation of speech. He was a Neter, the so-called god of personality, who was associated with writing, science, measurement, and counting. He also was associated with healing. So, when I saw this diagram, I studied it and said, wait a minute, something is wrong with this illustration. Because we see Jehuti sitting or kneeling on the eye of Heru, holding in his hand a tetrahedron, which is this symbol, kneeling on the eye. See, but what's significant is that this is the eye of Heru, this is the eye of Jehuti. The eye of Heru is the right eye. The eye of Jehuti is the left eye. So Jehuti is sitting on the wrong emblem. Then it dawned on me the time frame in which this dramatization was. So they limited the information that they gave to them, and based upon my analysis of this symbol, they inverted some of the symbols. When you invert something, you change its meaning 180 degrees. So they had the capacity now, even though they were conquered, to limit the conqueror's access to the information by distorting it. And they didn't know because they never seen this stuff before. So they could literally hide these secrets in plain sight. And that is what they did. That is exactly what they did. So I want to spend a few minutes analyzing this symbol. And I want you to understand what this symbol represents. And so the tetrahedron here that Jehuti is holding in his hand is the same as this emblem. That emblem looks a little familiar because it's known as the Star of David, maybe known to the Arab community as the Seal of Solomon. Those of you who read the Da Vinci Code know that it was referred to as the blade and the chalice. It is two symbols, the triangle pointing up, which represents masculine energy, and the triangle pointing down, which represents feminine energy. And the fusion of these two symbols represents the balance and the harmony of the masculine and feminine energy which pervades the world and the universe. And it's only by becoming aware of this information and learning how to balance this information in your personal life that you can master this secret knowledge and apply it in your life. So what that means, sisters and brothers, is that there is no superiority of the sexes. They are dependent on each other for each other's benefit. You hear that, George? So male and female are co-equal. And this balance between the both is necessary for there to be anything, because this exists on all levels, not just physically, but atoms on an atomic level. You have atoms. Atoms are comprised of electrons, neutrons, and protons. Protons are positive energy. Electrons are negative energy. And neutrons are nuclear energy. Masculine, feminine, and neutral energy, which comprises everything in life. Everything in life. So everything has to be balanced in order for there to be life. All right? So, let's look at and understand essentially what happened. So, people in Kemet withheld information from Europeans. And in withholding the information, they changed the whole dynamic of Kemetic culture and civilization. The knowledge was first developed in the temples, but when the Greeks came in, they took the knowledge out of the temples, took it back to their homeland. So this information that has been stolen from Kemet is now a part of Masonic educational and religious systems that are practiced throughout the world. What I want us to realize, and it's no coincidence that this presentation is being held in a Masonic temple, which used to be a church. All right? All this stuff is connected. All of this stuff is interrelated. What I wanted you to realize and understand, that in ancient Kemet, knowledge and information was conferred in degrees. And so you had to demonstrate your mastery of information before you be allowed to advance to the next degree. If you couldn't add, if you couldn't write a dissertation, you can't be promoted to the next grade level. And so we find that this was the model that was used for the Masonic and the educational system today. Elementary school takes you up to the 8th degree. High school takes you up to the 12th degree. Bachelor's takes you to the 16th degree. Master's take you to the 18th degree, and a PhD is the 20th degree. Within Masonry, whether it's the Scottish Rite or the York Rite or the Masonry, the highest degree is the 32nd degree. 33rd degree is an honorary degree, which is only conferred among certain people within the York Rite or the Scottish Rite who have demonstrated their mastery of all of the degrees within that specific Masonic organization. What I want you to know, what I want you to understand, what I want you to be clear about is that in Kemet, in the Nile Valley, these African priests had 360 degrees of knowledge. And they taught the Greeks less than 10% of the knowledge that they had. And with that 10%, these Greeks went on to become the master of the world by controlling the information and the images which came out of Kemet. That is how the secret became a secret. And that is why we've been taught that we use less than 10% of our brain. Because the people who control us have less than 10% of the knowledge. So as long as they keep you functioning at a dysfunctional level, and you don't know that you're dysfunctional, you think that you're all that. So, I'm from Chicago, so I want to use west side of Chicago. So, I want to use a little Chicago street vernacular in order to express this phenomenon, what I'm talking about. The knowledge that came out of Kemet has been stepped on. It's been cut so many times that it doesn't get as high like it's supposed to. Knowledge is the real high. Knowledge is supposed to get you high.
That's right.
Physically higher to your creator, your source of all life, and internally it generates a state of euphoria that's better than sex. All right? So, and so what I want us to understand, what I want us to be clear about is that we've been so doped up, so dumbed down for so long that we are comfortable using 5% of our brain. And many of us aren't even interested in developing more of our brain power. And when some of us attempt to do that by coming to a lecture on a nice Saturday afternoon. Your friends and family look at you like you're out of your mind. As if there's something wrong with you for trying to gain some knowledge. They've been